This man just put up his hand. The whole tank was broken into pieces. After that, he clenched his hand. The pieces were quickly glued together. He could reach every corner of the universe in a tick. On Mars, he could create a beautiful architecture with just his mind. And he could even control time. At the same time, he could clone himself at any time. He easily walked on the surface of the sun. In front of him, the human was as small as an ant. The President of the United States asked him to join the war. As a result, after only 3 days, the war ended. And he was called Dr. Manhattan. Many people also called him a god. He used to be a quantum physics scientist. While working, unfortunately he was locked inside the quantum resolution room. As a result, he was also decomposed. But there was a miracle happening. His thinking had penetrated into quantum space. The parts then began to be put together and formed shape. Just like that, God was born. His appearance ended the Cold War. And also helped people solve a lot of physics problems. However, humans didn't feel grateful to him. Because Dr. Manhattan was too strong. If one day, his thoughts changed, what would humanity be like? Because of this, Dr. Manhattan was under a lot of pressure. In a live broadcast, a reporter intentionally asked about the issues he was being criticized for. She also criticized that everyone around him got cancer because of him. This made Manhattan extremely depressed. Therefore, he immediately moved to Mars. And then built a giant clock and criticized himself. Manhattan's departure caused the world to fall into the Cold War. All countries in the world had fully prepared their weapons to be ready for war. The World War was about to begin again. Humanity began to sink into fear like the end of the world. However, there was another sinister conspiracy behind all this. This man was so quick-witted. The black man behind him was preparing to attack him. He quickly took the food tray and fought back. And then defeated that black man. He even broke the glass. And poured a whole pan of hot oil on that black man's face. Then he said, "Looks like you still don't understand your situation. I'm not forced to be locked up with you. But you are forced to be locked up with me." Since then, no one in the prison dared to touch him. This man was Rorschach, a superhero. Rorschach had a tragic childhood. His mother made money by playing cards with men. He was also ridiculed for his family background. However, he didn't become evil. He still believed in righteousness, and the evil would definitely be punished. When investigating the Manhattan case, Rorschach was harmed by someone else. Therefore, he was taken to prison. Half of the prisoners in the prison were arrested by Rorschach. So they really hated Rorschach. Taking the opportunity to have a prison riot, his enemies had a chance for revenge. The bald guy was the first to provoke Rorschach. But then, Rorschach broke that guy's finger. And tied his hands with a rope. And this short man waited 15 years to get revenge on Rorschach. To quickly revenge, he asked his subordinates to cut off the bald guy's arm. They then quickly opened Rorschach's cell door. They were inherently unable to defeat Rorschach. Seeing that, the short man panicked and hurriedly ran away. At this time, the Batman group took the opportunity to help Rorschach escape from prison. They found out that Rorschach was harmed. And someone made Manhattan angry. He went to Mars. Actually, all of this was caused by this man named Vate. Therefore, they immediately contacted Manhattan to find Vate. Meanwhile, Vate had also been waiting for them for a long time. When they were about to deal with him, Vate turned on a live broadcast news. And there was a scary incident that surprised all of them. This man named Vate was too cruel. He took advantage of the power of Manhattan to turn 4 big cities into ruins. This caused 150 million deaths. And then he dumped all the blame on Manhattan. He did that to protect the peace of the world. Because the Cold War would happen sooner or later. Until then, all the atomic bombs would completely destroy humanity. This explosion was actually brutal, but it ended the Cold War. And this had also brought all of humanity to unite to fight Manhattan together. And the fear of the doomsday of the world also disappeared. This was also the first time in history that humanity had united together in order to face a stronger enemy. As for Vate, he thought human nature was to kill each other. When extreme tricks were used, tragedy could be prevented. So he used 150 million lives in exchange for all of humanity. Manhattan and Batman also tacitly agreed to this. Because this was a problem that would also happen sooner or later. If these 150 million people didn't die, humanity would completely perish. However, only Rorschach still firmly believed in justice. He thought the public had a right to know the truth. But as for Manhattan, for the long-term development of mankind, he finally destroyed Rorschach. This movie is called Watchmen. That is a work of director Zack Snyder. And maybe this was the most serious superhero movie I had seen. It showed both the fantasy, but also the reality about the superhero. And it also analyzed human personality in great detail. What's amazing was that this movie didn't have any villains. Every character in the movie wanted humanity to get better and better. However, some people's tricks would be more extreme. And some people were very stubborn. If you were Dr. Manhattan, what would you do to save the world?